Hey everybody, and welcome into WTAP Football Frenzy, sponsored by Gribble Roofing and WVU Parkersburg. We are officially back. It's about time. We've got some great highlights for you tonight. It's the first week of Ohio high school football, but before we get to that, we got to introduce my partner joining me at the Frenzy desk for the first time, Jermaine Kelly. Jermaine,
hey,
how's it feel to be out here?
Let's do it. I'm so pumped.
Yeah, so Jermaine, just getting into it tonight. A lot of great action. We talked about it. Glad to hear that. Nowhere else I'd want to be on a Friday night, right here at the Frenzy desk.
Oh, yeah.
Fort Frye had their season opener at home, taking on Ridgewood. Cadets have dropped their first game of the season 2 years in a row, so looking to get off to a better start in 2026.
Yeah, both teams won 9 games last year and had a win in the playoffs. A great matchup to start to kick off the season in 2026.
Yeah, let's not waste any more time and head straight out to Beverly. Here come the Cadets, and just like that, football is back, baby. Early in the first, Logan Wentz on the QB keeper. He's gone. House call on the Generals' second play from scrimmage. See you later, 7-0. Couple of 3-and-outs on Fort Frye's first couple of possessions, but they're able to take advantage of a bad Ridgewood punt. Sam Bricker bricking his way into the red zone. Then Gavin Rao, number 11, finishes it off with the jet sweep all the way around. Going to get clotheslined on the tackle, but he's in there. A touchdown, first Cadet points of 2026. Now Wyatt Marlett on the keeper, and he is stuffed. Big fourth down stop. Cadets now 3rd and long. Grady Hessen, watch him go on his right, rolling out, launches a beautiful deep ball, and it's going to fall right into the breadbasket of Clayton Tolius. He hit him in stride, and all Ridgewood sees is the bottom of number 4's cleats, a 71-yard touchdown. Now to close it out, the first half, Wentz keeper, and the ball gets dislodged, and Fort Frye is on it. They'd run out the clock from there and go on to win it 19-14, your final.
Yeah, it's kickoff in New McConnelsville as the Morgan Raiders take on the Marietta Tigers.
Like the student
First
section.
Possession for the Raiders. Hand off to Tanner Banks. He's going to shed tackles left and right before finding the end zone for the 29-yard rushing touchdown.
Looks like Owen Schmidt out there.
Oh, yeah. First play for the Tigers. Brendan Frye is going to take the direct snap and get right up the middle, breaking one off for 63 yards before being tackled down at the 2-yard line. Nice run there. The very next play to finish off the drive, Trent McVeigh is going to sneak in for the touchdown. 8-7 ball game. Raiders, they lead. Now jumping into the second quarter, Morgan inside of the 5, and the handoff to Mason Pauley is going to extend the Raider lead to 22-7.
Man, high scoring.
Oh, yeah. After the touchdown, right. Morgan kicking off, and it's Nick McGill fielding the kick. He's going to find a hole, get a block.
Fill the lanes. Oh, they didn't do it. There he goes.
He's gone. Returns the kick to cut the deficit to 22-14, but Morgan would hang on and pick up the victory, 35-32.
A lot of points in that one. All right, it's rematch time out in Vincent. Last year when Union Local and Warren met, the Jets shut out the Warriors 35-0. Will it be different this year? At the half, it unfortunately was not for the Warriors. All Union Local up 21-0, and things would go from bad to worse. Brody Personowski into the end zone, 28-0 Jets. Warren couldn't get anything going on the offensive side of the ball, giving it right back to Union Local. They had on to the lead. This Colton Snyder Superman dive.
Up and
6. Sure. Warriors, though, finally going to get a break here with Braylon Murray taking the kick return to the house, the quarterback. But it was ruled a holding call on Warren, so they're bringing it back. And a little bit of deja vu in this one as Union Local taking home the dub by a final score of 34-0.
Still plenty more ahead on tonight's episode of WTAP Football Frenzy. Belpre hosted Lancaster Fisher Catholic in their season opener. Stick around.